very good morning and welcome to Newsline. We're coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. I'm Sharlan Benedict, and of course I'll be sitting in for your usual host, Shaukat Ali, who is on official parenting duties. But first, let's get to know the guest for this morning. Given the dawn of the new year, speaking about a summary of last year, we spoke a lot about the drug menace in the country. The president announced a new drive against drug prevention. Yesterday, too, speaking, the Inspector General of Police announced new operations to seize illegal firearms. Of course, when we speak about crime, organized crime and drugs, these are all interconnected facts that we speak about. And to give us a more comprehensive idea on what exactly the drug menace is, the magnitude of the drug menace in the country, and what we as a country are doing to prevent this, we've got DIG Sajeewa Medawatta from the Police Narcotics Bureau. Very good morning, DIG, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, very good morning, Mr.
DIG Medawatta, now, as I said before, the drug menace in the country is one of the massive issues that we faced last year. Of course, from a perspective of drug prevention, there is a bit of a sad and happy situation because there were massive amounts of drug that came into the country, but luckily we were able to apprehend this. What is the process in apprehension of these drugs, and what exactly is the magnitude of the drug menace here in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much. Actually, first of all, I should thank Sirasa to arrange this special program to the Sri Lanka Police. When you are considering this fact, the issue, this is the most dangerous social problem issue in Sri Lanka. When you are talking about the war and the terrorism, I think this is I can say this is the biggest social issue in Sri Lanka, the drug menace. When you are talking about the detections, actually the Police Narcotic Bureau and the other agencies of Sri Lanka, like STF, Colombo Crime Division, and all area police stations, they have a very big role to prevent this issue. When we talk about the last 4 years, 2015, 16 and 17, you know, I can show you the figures clearly. Here, 2015, all the detection of all four main drugs. 2016, 2017, this is 2018. You can see how
much it has increased.
It's a big thing. Actually, we got the biggest support from the public to eradicate this, to control this issue. Especially, we have arranged so many training programs and awareness programs to the public to arrest the suspect and the detections.
Now, of course, it's a known fact that police officers put their lives on the line when they go out in these operations to apprehend these kind of drugs because they're dealing with criminal gangs and organized criminal gangs. But the problem is, when these drugs are being seized in such massive quantities, how are they being destroyed? Are they being destroyed? Are they being returned to circulate among the general public?
No, I can't agree with that. It's a public perception. They are correct. Thing is, when we recover the drugs from the field, there's a process. First, we should arrest the suspect. Then we should move it to the courts. Through the courts, we are moving to the government analyst department for the investigation to get the purity. Once we get the purity, according to our legal provision, we can destroy it. But thing is, generally in Sri Lanka, 5 or 6 or more than 10 years we have to spend for one case. It's very difficult to destroy before the case.
So before the case ends, you cannot destroy the contraband that you have seized?
No, there is a provision, especially in our main act, number 13 of 1984, Dangerous Drugs Act, there is a provision. Once we get the purity from the government department, we can submit an application to the magistrate. You have to get permission from the magistrate to destroy that. In 15th of January, we destroyed 930 kilos of cocaine. It's a bigger scale in cocaine. But we have a plan to destroy 1,400 kilos of heroin, 650 kilos of cocaine, and more than 2,000 kilos of cocaine is yet to be destroyed.
So these are still in the custody of the police department?
No, it's some government police department and some in the courts. The other amount is in the police.
So when it comes to destroying these drugs, we see public events being held to destroy these drugs. That's of course to ensure trust and to show the general public that these drugs are in fact being destroyed. Another question that the general public has is that these drugs, an allegation moreover, that these drugs are being replaced with items that look similar to drugs, things like flour or sugar. What's the reality on that situation?
No, thing is, it's a production. Maybe if I detect this one as a weapon, it's a production. Production is a totally, it belongs to the police. Before we submit to the courts, the magistrate courts or the high court, it's a production of the police. Then, especially the drugs, we have to send the sample, not the full amount to the government to get the purity. Even the last time we detected 103 kilos of heroin from Batramul area, we send it to the government department. We got the report from the government department, the purity is 79.9%.
Okay.
Pure. We are getting that. No way to mix with the other substances.
So there's an assurance from your part that when the police do destroy these drugs, they are actually destroying the contraband.
Yeah, definitely we are destroying. I can't agree with that.
Also now, when it comes to the drug menace in the country, we have seen statements being made, especially even in Parliament, by some of our former Prime Ministers, that politicians are the main people behind importing drugs into the country. Now, of course, something that we know is politicians like to influence different aspects of social order. What is the level of influence that the police or you in person have from these political parties or political powers, let's say?
Now, when we are talking about the influence, this is my second day in the police narcotics area. I didn't get any single call from a politician. I didn't get any single.
So you're a lucky policeman.
No, actually, it's general perception. Always the politicians, sometimes journalists, the highest police officers, they are interfering to this investigation. Actually, when you look at the last 5 detections, 103 kilos, 231 kilos, and 278 kilos, and 25 kilos. Very normal politicians. We have arrested all main suspects.
But going a little bit back.
They are foreigners. For the last case, we arrested 2 Bangladesh people. Yet we are going to arrest another Bangladesh the lady. They are subject. If they we are not considering the political
but we saw incidents in the past when certain leading political figures, their houses were being raided in the Western province itself. When their houses were being raided, a former president actually went and implied that you shouldn't arrest him and acted in such a manner. And aren't these political influences? Do you not see them as political influences?
No, that was happened. No,
okay.
You should
acknowledge.
I should acknowledge that. But thing is, now I didn't see any influence. Thing is, we can very freely we can work. They are not influencing us. As a head of narcotics, that's my prime duty. We are not considering his political party or per the color of the politician. If he is suspect, he is suspect for us. We don't have any the barriers.
So if a politician is found to be involved in this drug smuggling businesses, you will not hesitate to arrest them and take legal action against them?
Not at all.
But then when it comes to, once again, speaking of the prevention of this drug menace that's recurring in the country, when it comes, once you arrest a suspect and prosecute him, the final phase of prosecution is the sentencing. And once they're sentenced, they are being sent to prisons. Although we call it prisons here in Sri Lanka, and in foreign countries they are known as correctional facilities. This is the place where hopefully these drug peddlers will be rehabilitated. But we see many contraband inside prisons itself. There are some prison inmates who coordinate these drug operations. What is the police doing about that?
Yes, it's a good question. Actually, when you talk about the role of the PNB, we can divide the main role into 5 groups. That's prevention, detections, right? Then rehabilitation and the prosecution. But we can do the all four things: prevention, detection, and the rehabilitation. So, but thing is, when you talk about the rehabilitation, it's a total the role this role of prison department, the correctional department, prison and corrections. So in other countries, when you are comparing our country with the other countries,
in terms of rehabilitation,
we can say that those are correctional centers, not the prisons. But here we are called as prisons. In Sri Lanka, now there are two types of prisoners now, the remand prisoners and the convicted prisoners.
Yes.
In Sri Lanka, remand prisoners, percentage is 52.
Okay.
And 48 or 47 they are
convicted prisoners.
I think the other countries, some countries, good countries, there the percentage is 75 convicted prisoners and 25 remand prisoners.
Okay.
Right? That's the difference in between our countries.
So most of our prisoners are people who have not been found guilty.
Yeah.
Going against the theory of innocent until proven otherwise.
Yeah. Happen. Other thing is, still, that's our duty to send them to the prisons to rehabilitate and the punishments. But still, they are using phones and they are dealing with the other criminal cases. Still, they are using phones and they are doing the business. It's a big issue for us.
So you said prisoners. You acknowledge the fact that prisoners are using cell phones, but how can they use cell phones? They are being cut off from the real world. They are being cut off from the rest of the world. The prison officials are responsible for keeping it that way. Who is facilitating these prisoners?
Actually, last 2-3 years, they have detected so many cell phones from the prison. They are operating, but it's not in expected level. Right? But some prisoners, they are on they are under death penalty. Some prisoners, they are on remand. When they are using the phone, we can monitor them from the outside. But last two cases, all the 278 the kilo case, the 231 case, all the business run by in the prisons. Still they are using. That's the response of the prison department. Actually, they are trying. But thing is, anyhow, this big money, but still they are using phone. We have to, however, we should control.
So are you implying that these falls can be attributed to a few corrupt officials in the prison department?
Maybe, but thing is, there are some jammers. If we can jam the systems and the phones, we can control it. But there's a special committee. I was a member of the committee. We have proposed a good proposal to how we control and prevent the using of the phones, cell phones and the other things in the prison. It will happen very soon.
There was recently a report also claiming that prison officials are charging the people who come, the visitors who come to prison, certain amounts for different activities. If you want to send a rice packet inside for, say, these are all hypothetical figures, 500 rupees for a rice packet inside. If you want to sit down with the inmate and eat the rice packet, it's 1,000 rupees. If you want a phone call, it's 1,500 rupees. Things like this. Are these true or is it just speculation?
There is a rumor, but thing is, we should
conduct a proper investigation before coming to a conclusion. But then these are turning out to be public secrets. Also, speaking about the prisons department and prison officials and surrounding this topic, there was a prison riot back in the day, and 27 odd prisoners were killed. This was a massive incident, but still we haven't seen a concluded report on this matter. On behalf of the police department, I know this is not your subject, but I'm just asking, as a DIG, on behalf of the police department, are you still conducting investigations into this? When can we see a final conclusion to this big, massive black scar that Sri Lanka has?
Yeah, I think that was happened on 2000, few years back.
Yes.
Still, the inquiries are going on. I think we can see the result very soon.
Very soon? In the term of this government, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, also moving on from prisons to a bit more early on in a person's life. I believe it's quite an important thing to nurture children educate children on drugs? Because that is generally where we see a lot of this drugs coming into play, children being involved in drugs or using drugs from their childhood ages. Then we come to schools. Recently, there has been a massive increase in the amount of drugs being used in schools. We see these in paper articles. Also, we at Newsfirst have reported on these matters. What is the police doing to control this?
Actually, that's when we are talking about this problem, this is the fight between the demand and supply. We can reduce the supply. We can control it. But thing is, demand reduction is a part of the society, especially the parents, the teachers, and the entire society. In Sri Lanka, there are 10,000 schools and 8,000 schools. They are held in, all and above.
Okay.
In 2018, we started big national program with the collaboration of the Department of Education and the Law and Order Ministry. We established the drug prevention special committees in each school.
Okay.
Already we established the committee, and in other parties to cover entire Sri Lanka, there are more than 4,000 the Grammar Sector divisions. In each division, there is a police vigilant committee division unit. In that committee, there is a subcommittee for preventing drugs. With that, we are getting more information. In this new year, 2019, we have a special plan to identify and control drugs, especially the synthetic drugs like tablets and other things. We have a special
LSDs.
plan, LSDs. We have a special plan to prevent this thing, control these things in schools.
But as far as awareness goes, have you been conducting awareness programs in these schools?
Yes.
And so on and so forth. You have been conducting awareness programs.
Actually, we have a good trained police officers to conduct awareness programs. The support of NDDCB and the Police Narcotics Bureau and the local police. Always we are conducting awareness programs. In 2018, we have conducted more than 7,000 awareness programs in the entire country.
But when it comes to detection of drugs in schools, you don't see a massive presence of the police force inside schools for good reason. How do you detect the use of drugs in schools?
Actually, generally we are not going to the schools in uniform or civil. It's ethical, so I think it's not good. Even some university students, they are using drugs, even the school good. But we have to get information from the teachers or
from
the
an
parents. Informant. Sometimes teachers are giving information, sometimes parents are giving. But thing is, some school, when you are, in last August, before the school vacation, we arrested 5 students from big schools in Colombo. But thing is, the school, the principals of those schools, they are not giving. Sometimes they are not giving prior support to police. Thing is, if we
speak to the police, it's bad for the school.
The remain is there, but thing is, that's their prime duty. If they have any information about this drug trafficking, they should inform us. If they want to directly inform the PNB, they can inform. I can give my phone numbers. If you have any information, please let us know.
Because after all, it's the future of these children that they're playing with.
That's our main role. We should. That's the future of our country. We should pay our attention, especially for the school children. Not only the schools, even the tuition classes and the other universities.
So the police gives an outright assurance that confidentiality will be maintained.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I want to say we have recovered more than 650 kilos of heroin this year. We got all the information from the public.
All the information from the public.
Yeah.
And no harm has come to any informant.
Never.
Okay.
I can assure you. It's very. If sometimes we are not. Sometimes always we are giving rewards for them. If you give a positive or good information, we are giving a big reward for him confidentially.
Also, when it comes to speaking about children in schools and all that, how far important is it that parents be aware of what their children are actually doing in school or classes or wherever they go?
Yeah. Actually, the attention of the parents is very important. Right? You know, sometimes the children are going to schools or classes or ground, the sports they are going. Sometimes they come, if someone come, you know, but thing is, the parents should look after them very carefully. When we are talk about the youth crowd, always they had an opportunity to deal with other users or suspects. That's the main issue. Then the parents should think about their children, and if they can minimize the opportunities, we can fight with this. Opportunity is the biggest issue. Right? Not for the drug use, for a crime, for an accident, for another thing. Opportunity is very important. If we can find the opportunity,
they will definitely be inclined to do it. Speaking about drugs and the manner in which drugs come into the country, you know, we actually do not have any other land routes connecting to other countries, because of course we're an island. So it's only the sea route and the air route. What's the most common way that these drugs are being trafficked into the country?
Actually, to our country, in Sri Lanka, there are three ways. The first, from the airports. Second, from the harbour. Legally, they can, you know, the messengers, they can come.
Bring it in the guise of something else.
Under the immigration law, if you want to go out of a country, or if you come, you should come through a airport or port, harbour. But our issue is there are 20,000, more than 20,000 fishing boats around our country, trawlers and the small boats. Most of the drug we are getting from the illegal sea routes through the boats. More than 80% we are getting from that illegal routes. One available source.
One of the biggest hulls was also seized in the seas of Berula.
Yes, the 231 kilos.
231 kilograms. So when it comes to detecting these drugs that come from illegal sea routes, does the Police Narcotics Bureau do it alone? Do you obtain the support of the Sri Lanka Navy?
No, actually we should get the assistance from the Sri Lanka Navy and the Coast Guard Department. Always they help in for detect that 231 kilos of the heroin. The Navy help us. Actually, it's a common. It should be a common effort. We don't have that facility. Coast Guard and the Navy and the police, you're working together, and the STF and all other law enforcement agencies. We have to work together to control the supply routes.
So these supply routes, as far as monitoring illegal supply routes in the country, how far successful are we? Have we covered all areas around Sri Lanka, or are there still lapses in detection?
There are some issues. You know, when you are as example, the war period, we suffered for more than 30 years. But last 2-3 years, what it is, they control the supply routes, especially the support of the Navy. They control all the
supply routes of weapons
and all. Like that, we should control the entire coastal area. Not the entire, especially the north and east and the Tilam, Todua and that area. We can get the assistance from the Sri Lanka police, army and the Navy. Definitely, we should control that area. Now they are freely moving. Especially Mena, Thale Mena, Todua, Putlam, Jaffna, Batiklo, Trinco, those all coastal areas. They are all the fishermen. No, they should do their day-to-day jobs. They are fishermen, no. But thing is, if someone gets the drugs or something, illegal goods or something, it's very difficult to catch them. But we should implement a proper program to prevent these movements.
But DIG Medawatte, in recent past, we saw a lot of foreigners in the country using drugs. Most of these drugs that are being brought into the country are for circulation among foreigners in the country. What is the Police Narcotics Bureau doing to address that? Are you arresting the foreigners who are using these? Are you arresting their suppliers? What is the plan?
Actually, when you're talking about the drug scenario in the world, most of the drugs produced by the Golden Triangle, Afghanistan, Iran and Pakistan. We are getting the biggest, the most, the heroin.
And Sri Lanka is only being used as a hub to transport these drugs.
Yeah. sometimes, not always. Then there are, the transport part is done by the Pakistanis and Maldivians. The last case also we have arrested 2 Pakistanis, the 2 kilos for the Bangladesh lady. For that case also 2 Bangladeshians. They are ignoring. They are not users. We are not considered as users. We are as arresting, and we are considering the traffickers. They are not users. They are traffickers. Especially there are a number of Pakistanis, Iranians, and the Nigerians and Maldivians in our prisons for illegal trafficking.
Drawing focus back onto the local scene. Now, you said when it comes to foreign nationals, you don't arrest the drug users, you arrest drug traffickers.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be the scene when it comes to the local scenario. You arrest, the police arrest local users as well, people with just a few grams of heroin, maybe possibly for their personal use. Even they are being arrested and prosecuted, while people who are behind the scenes and who supply them with the drugs and who are in possession of massive amounts of contraband are still roaming free.
Yeah. No, thing is now, straight level we can arrest the users with milligrams, 2 or 3 milligrams, something. But with that information, I can ask,
where did you get it from?
Like that, this last case was 200. That's the biggest detection in Sri Lanka. That's more than nearly 280 kilos of. It's a big detection.
So that detection was a result of these street peddlers being arrested and being interrogated.
Yeah. Before that, we arrested 1 kilo, then 7 kilos, again 32 kilos, and finally.
So you're walking up the ladder slowly. So, but when it comes to...
It's a part of our investigation.
When it comes to the massive drug lords in Sri Lanka, we know that there are a number of massive drug lords in Sri Lanka, and we've seen in the past, over the past, when these drug lords are being either arrested or prosecuted and put behind bars, there is still no sign of reduction in the drug menace in the country. Why do you think that is?
No, we can, when I show, at the beginning I show you the figures, you can very clearly you can see, how many arrests. It's 3 times bigger than.
But we don't see a reduction in the number of drugs that are coming into our country. None of these efforts seem to be stopping these people from bringing drugs into the country.
No, we have special programs. Actually, this is the beginning.
This is only the beginning.
Yes. You can not like the previous years. Actually, I should mention about the previous heads and the other officers who worked for the PNB. They did a marvelous job. Sometimes they sacrifice their life to when they are doing their jobs. We lost our 2 officers. Some were injured on the instruction for IG police and the senior IG of the organized crime, narcotic and waste chief. We are doing all the raids to arrest main culprits.
So DIG Medawatte, you said that the general public were highly instrumental in the arrest that you made of these massive amounts of contraband. I believe it would be appropriate if you give out a telephone number that the general public could contact you on if they have any information regarding drugs that are coming into our country.
Actually, we were very successful in last year with this great support of the public. They gave us very valuable information. I should thank for them for their immediate support. If you want to give the information to NDDCB, their number is 1984.
That's a hotline. 1984.
1984. That's a hotline.
Okay.
Then the Police Narcotics Bureau, you can use this number, not 11 011 23 43 333 011 23 43 333. That's our hotline. And in January this month, we have a plan to introduce a new number like 119.
Okay.
I think once we
a number that people can access
very easily, they can access. We are going to establish introduce this number in this month.
Of course, DIG Medawatte, it is the hope and aspiration of the general public of this country and everyone here that the drug menace will be done away with, of course, this year, and we will be able to take some concrete steps towards curbing the spread of drugs in the country that has hit quite a pinnacle during the past year. Thank you very much, DIG Medawatte, for coming on our show and expressing those views. Thank you very much to all our viewers out there for watching so far. This is Newsline. We will join you tomorrow, hopefully, with your usual host, Farah Shaukat Ali. Until then, I'm Sharlan Benedict. Thank you for watching once again. Take care and God bless.